What's going on, YouTube? I want to welcome you guys to this new video, and today is an actually pretty interesting topic. On this channel, we talk about things like paranormal, ghost, or anything related to horror, and that's just overall creepy. But today we're going to be taking a different turn that I've never talked about on this channel, and is actually pretty popular on the media. That is UFO sightings and aliens. Now, all over American culture, for some reason, 60s, 70s, 80s, going into 2010s, there has been a huge rise in just, not even a rise anymore, just a huge interest in the world of aliens, and if there is another life out there or a life form out there that we don't know about. Even my own mom is deeply interested in aliens, and there's even shows related to, really popular shows related to alien sightings. That's why today I say let's go into 3 cases and just give my own opinion if aliens are real and if there is an actual life form out there we don't know about. So I'm gonna keep this intro short so we can just get right into these cases and talk about them. But if you guys enjoyed this video, I gotta say, just leave me a comment. Tell me what you guys would like to see next. So enjoy. Now, there's actually 2 types of people in this world. People that believe in aliens and people that don't, skeptics. And this could go with anything really, like the idea if people believe in if ghosts are actually out there or not, or that's just a big lie. But today, that's where we're gonna find out. But this first case really helps us figure out where the skeptics are and the believers are. This first case is about the Phoenix lights of 1997. On the 13th of March of 1997, around 700 people seen these weird lights in the sky. And these lights were, I could almost use an example of my, of my lamp right there, circles like that, how it's shown on the wall. Just these weird lights in the sky, and people are really freaked out about this. And 700 people saw this, which is something you can't just imagine. Like some people, like I have later in the video, some people say they were abducted by aliens. That was only one person, you know what I'm saying? So that's easily made up. But 700 people seeing a light in the sky is a little hard to make up. And these lights in the sky were around the Arizona, Nevada area, so just letting you know, and were around a military base, which is one of the theories, thinking was the government involved in something in this. But the theory is this really UFOs, or was this just confusing thing? Maybe the US government was doing something at the time. But the first theory is this was a UFO sighting. I'm not siding on one yet. I'm not saying if this is the theory or not, but the first theory is that this was a UFO sighting and the government really was trying to cover this up. The government really didn't want to talk about this for some reason. This triangle of lights in the sky that everyone was talking about. Even a truck driver would say, he was talking about how, I actually saw this on the YouTube channel, BuzzFeed. He was talking about how crazy this was, and he's never seen anything like it, and no one's gonna believe him, but because he's a truck driver, and that's the truth. No one really, some don't believe this at all, and the government really had a hard time covering this up, even though 700 people seen it, and they didn't want to explain what it was. So this could have been, the way these disappeared, you can see in a video, the way these disappeared, people think these were little UFOs. And also another theory is this was one big object, which personally, my opinion, I think this was saying if this was actually aliens, it looks like they're singular UFOs, you know what I mean? Just in a triangle, looking down maybe at something. But the second theory is this was a government test. They were doing something with technology nobody knows about, these weird lights, right? They think that, yeah, around this time, they say fighter jets were going out of the military base, which no one really knows if that's true or not. But when these fighter jets were going up, they said these lights would follow the fighter jets. So maybe that could be a sign of maybe the UFOs or the government was testing. I personally think that does add up a little bit, that the government was doing something with these lights. But going on to that theory, I'm just going to add to that theory more of the people thinking more logically and not aliens. I think this was a flare gun, something released from the jets maybe, or shot up in the sky from the military base, which does make a lot of sense. I didn't know flares can get that bright white light. But you're not a professional on flare guns, okay? Yeah, I know nothing about flares and flare guns. I don't even think I've seen a flare go off in real life. So I'm not the person to ask for that part, but what do I think? Personally, I know it's crazy, but I'm like, man, it's so hard to pick, but I know I gotta pick one. Let me think. I'm legit thinking about my opinion right now. I guess I gotta go. I don't see this one being the flare theory more than the aliens. But it's so difficult. But just for this one, I'm gonna have to say this is fake, and I do believe this was a government experiment, just because how the government covered it up, and they didn't want to talk about it at all, and also knowing that this was a military base. But I know that one was very questionable, but these other ones, I gotta tell you, these ones are way harder to think, hey, are these real or fake? So let's get right into the next one. This next case is about Betty and Barney Hill and how their story is of being abducted by aliens. So in 1961, there was this couple, Betty and Barney, like I talked about, and they were, well, of course they were married because they have the same last name, duh. I don't know why I said couple, but I guess you could still call them a couple. They were driving home from a vacation. And on their way home, this was in the New Hampshire area where they were driving at this time. It was pretty late night, 10:30 around that time. And they claimed to see a light in the sky. And they were looking at this light from their vehicle. And when they saw this light, Barney had no clue, which is the guy. Barney had no clue what this was. He thought it was a satellite, so he told his wife Betty that it was a satellite. Probably just not to freak her out. But they got out of there. They started driving, right? Not too much what happened after that. They started driving. But questioning, they're probably just talking in their car or something while driving. Normal stuff, listening to music, normal things people do in a vehicle. And that's when this light they saw in the sky, which was a bright white light, kind of like the Phoenix lights, they claimed was following them and going in like weird zigzag pattern, which terrifying. I don't know what any of you would do, but Barney was kind of his wife know that it's okay. He didn't know what this was. He was freaking out on the inside, but he didn't want to really scare Betty, so he just said it was okay. It was nothing. At first, they thought it was like someone in an airplane, like messing with them, playing a game with them. But when it started getting closer, they kept driving. They were both pretty freaked out, panicking, as you imagine a bright light following you at nighttime when you're the only person on the road, yeah. When Barney would pull the car over, and he would get out, he would have like a gun in his pocket. Said he would have a gun in his pocket, and when he got out, Betty and Barney both claimed they passed out. And when they passed out, they started remembering memories when they actually went out and talked to the news. At first, they just said they didn't know anything. But going through therapy and stuff, they started remembering bits and parts of what happened.
And naturally, he had to stop the car. And they came up in two groups, took us out of the car, passed in the woods to where the craft was on the ground.
At that point, strange thoughts started going through your heads, thoughts that weren't your own.
They said they were taken into this weird spacecraft, and these people who looked funny, they had big heads with small chins and small noses. Pretty much the image of an alien, and this was 1961, just letting you guys know there wasn't the internet around, but there was movies about aliens at this time, so you can't really say they came up with aliens. But Betty was one who really talked about what happened to her. And she says when she was in here, there was a leader alien. I'm just going to call them aliens. You can't even I don't know what else to call them, forms, but non-human forms, but aliens. And they said there was a leader alien. And she said there was weird experiments done on her. They said this alien had a needle and they stuck it in her stomach. And she believes it was a weird pregnancy test or something. They just wanted to test out on humans. And the aliens told them, at least this is what they report, that they didn't want to hurt them. Now, this is kind of what they remember with this. And of course, when they got out, and that's kind of what they remember of this. And they would later say they woke up 40 miles away from where they were. So they just woke up in their car. Terrifying. And when they came out with this on the news and stuff, actually talking about it, of course, the people they didn't believe it. I mean, it sounds so crazy. Some people think it was a sleep paralysis, which I don't know how or like a sleeping stage, which I don't know how you both fall asleep and have the same dream. That one, I'm not gonna lie, the aliens is a little more believable than they both fell asleep and had the same dream. That's non-believable at all. But let me stop blabbing about that. Just something that made me mad. But of course there was believers of this and non-believers, and they would have videotapes out of Betty was real emotional about this, and Barney was too, of them talking about what happened to them and how terrifying this was. And till their deaths, Barney died a little younger, I think around his 40s, and then Betty would live a little longer, but she never got remarried. But they, even till their deaths, they believed what happened to them and never ever said it was a hoax. They said this was 100% true. But I don't know. That case was actually pretty crazy to me. I think I'm gonna have to go with this one. I believe it. I don't know, just how the whole thing set up. They've been lying. Yeah. But according to the people around them, they were just a normal couple. They weren't crazy. They weren't known for saying things that were really out of pocket. Not known for doing drugs or anything. So I'm gonna have to say this story was true. And I really do believe it. Could it be true or fake? Yeah. But I gotta go yes with this one. But this last case I'm gonna talk about is probably the craziest. I don't know. This one's not the craziest, but this one is involving the government, and I feel like it's the most believable one out of this whole video. Is the most believable. So let's talk about it. Now, this last case is about the whistleblower claims of 2023. And to be real with you guys, I'm gonna have to wing this last part of the video. I'm not really winging it because I know, but I usually write scripts for my videos, right? And my computer decided that it was gonna die mid-video. So now we're here. But the whistleblower claims was a man named David. David came out and he was working with the government. He was also a veteran, but he has many years in the government. You know what I'm saying? Seeing stuff in the government, being involved in the government. He came out to Congress and basically was saying that there was really... Now, I want to add this first. 2 days maybe, before this, NASA even released their own meeting talking about UFO sightings and if there's something out there. And that, even if NASA's talking about it now, that's kind of crazy, right? But they were talking, and mid-interview, they were talking about UFOs. And David was like, there is actually a aircraft that crashed, and they found intelligent forms on the plane, right? And the lady was like, were they non-human or human? He goes, non-human. But they were pilots. And I heard that, and I feel like that pointed everything to, hey, aliens could be real. I don't know what else you could say. They say a non-human forms on a pilot. And I'm saying some people might be like, oh, that's not possible. But you're not gonna see a dog, or here, I got an example. To be real, Cece, right here, Cece, I know I just woke her up from her nap, she's mad. But she's not gonna be driving a plane. So if you hear something non-human, alright. But they basically said this was a non-human, and a lot of people believe this in the government. That's what's crazy. And they believe that the government is covering this up for whatever reason. We don't know why the government's covering aliens up. Maybe they're scared of them. Which I believe, if I saw something non-human flying a plane and pretty smart, I'd be a little scared too. But you don't blame them. But maybe they're covering something up. Clearly they're covering things up. Ever since the case 1, the Phoenix Lights, they were covering this up. But I know that case was a little shorter, but more into it, you know what I mean? Like showing the truth, and there's actually people coming out saying that, yeah, the government's involved in aliens pretty heavy. But I want to say, my overall opinion, do I believe in aliens? And I'm gonna have to go with, there's some things, in the past I've done urban legends. I've done Kirtland Melonheads. I made a whole video on that when I was, that video is a little older, but that was legit trying to find out if Melonheads are real or fake. But I gotta go, aliens are real. It's just everything. There's something out there, I believe. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed making it. I had a great time. So I will see you guys in the next video. And maybe I'll have another video related to aliens coming soon. But I already know what next video is going to be. Not about aliens. The next video on this channel is going to be related. Is there any proof? You know how I said if there's any proof of aliens existing. I'm going to have the next one about a certain topic. I can't spoil it, guys. I'm sorry. I can't spoil it. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I'll see you guys next time. Let me know in the comments if aliens are real or fake.